So, our next learning objectives have to do with understanding how buyers behave in a perfectly competitive market. And so, typically I'll kind of go through this a little bit. So, typically, if we were in the classroom, we're all in this, looking at this at the same time, I would take kind of a survey of class and say, okay, well, how many Snickers bars would some of you be willing to buy if the price was $3 per Snickers bar? And, we would find that somewhere along the way, we'd get, a couple people that would say, yeah, I would buy a Snickers bar from you if you were selling them for $3. If I asked how many would be willing to buy a Snickers bar if they were $1, well, anybody that was willing to buy them at 3 would still buy it at 1, and we're going to pick up some more people, right? And if I lower the price to 25 cents, I'm probably going to get quite a few people to buy Snickers bars. So if I just, at 3, maybe we had 5 people in class willing. At $1, we got it up to 25. By the time I got to 25 cents, we had 65 people willing to buy a Snickers bar, right? So there's a few ideas that we've learned here from this very simple example about how demand operates. So first is to think about, why are some students willing to pay more for a Snickers bar than other students? And your answer, if you think about that, it probably has something to do with our preferences. Right? That's very important for how much of something I'm willing to buy. And so that's one of the key ideas here, right? So if I kind of skip ahead, is that my willingness to pay is the key determinant of demand. So when we ask how many of you would be willing to buy a Snickers bar at $3 per bar, what I'm asking is how many of you are willing to pay that much. And so what we know, if we think about this logically, is that if you're willing to pay, the Snickers bar is worth $3 to you, right? So if I really like Snickers, right? Or perhaps I'm just really hungry at this point in time. If I really like Snickers, I'm willing to pay much more. Right? So the people that were willing to buy it at $3 and people that were only willing to buy it at $1, right? So I want to buy it at 1 but not at 3 because I wasn't willing to pay $3 to buy it. But I am willing to pay 1. And so a key part of thinking about demand is thinking about willingness to pay. Am I willing to pay $3 for a Snickers bar? Depends on how much I like Snickers bars, right? What is the value that gives to me? Okay, so what we've also noticed here, so I'm going to kind of skip to a different document here, is if I kind of was to draw a graph here, where I put the quantity of Snickers on the x-axis and the price I'm charging on the vertical axis. What we kind of saw was that as the price decreased from 3 down to 25 cents, the number of Snickers bars people were willing to buy was increasing, right? So there was an inverse or negative relationship between the price of the Snickers and the quantity of Snickers that we wanted to buy or were willing to buy. So that's an important concept called the law of demand. And it says, as the price of a good increases, the quantity demanded decreases. Okay, so that is a very simple intuitive relationship. One you probably already understood before I told it to you formally. The higher the price of something, the fewer of them I'm willing to buy. Now we'll get a better understanding of why exactly that's true in the next video, but here we're just kind of stating that fact. Now, we're going to define this again a little bit more clearly, but one thing that's important is the terminology that I've used here. I said the quantity demanded decreases as the price of the good increases, not just the demand increases. And we're going to make an important distinction between quantity demanded and demand. So quantity demanded is the number of something I'm willing to buy at a particular price. The number I am willing to buy at a particular price. Right? So for example, when the price of Snickers was $3, we said the quantity demanded was 5. So it's a particular price, and how many I'm willing to buy at that price is quantity demanded. An important idea, the law of demand says that that is an inverse relationship. The higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. Or the lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. So fairly straightforward. So what we'll do in the next video is try to understand some intuition for why it has that negative relationship.